What's going on, Phoenicians? This is going to be a bit of a long video. It is 1 o'clock at night right now, and I was intending on filming this later, but a few people, not just one, but quite a few people have come up to me asking me my opinion on this issue. I made my previous update video on my rather stressful sub count unlisted because I realized that I put my earnings details in there, and I got contacted by a couple people saying that might not be allowed on YouTube. I don't know the details yet. If you guys know if I'm allowed to actually put those earnings details on my channel, I just basically showed my analytics on what I made for the last month, and I'm not sure if that's allowed or not. I didn't see that in the rules, but if I'm allowed to have that in there, I will make that previous update video public again. I want to talk about the Ryan Boundless video. That's what a lot of people have been making videos on. I don't know Ryan Boundless. I never met him before. I've only watched like a handful of his videos, usually when Victor or Jake Knowlton make a response to it, or Tico Sam. Make sure the light looks good. All I do know is that he has a history of posting rather drama enticing things, and this most video has to deal with the concept of Gaijin Hunter. And when I saw the title, I was like, yeah, I've had to deal with Gaijin Hunters in the past. But when I watched the video, I was actually quite angry. He was extremely disrespectful to this person. He complained about being treated as a second-class citizen, where he himself was was treating that guy as what I would think of as a second-class citizen. I'm not going to link the video. I don't want to promote his channel anymore. I don't want to send any more people that way. That's all you really need to know. It's just he was being extraordinarily disrespectful, and he was complaining about this concept of Gaijin Hunters, and even he got the concept incorrect in my opinion. Jake Knowlton, like I said in the previous Phoenix 5 video, he nailed it on the head on why Ryan Boundless is kind of in the wrong here. I'm not going to go on a spiel and go off the radar, go off the fucking map with my comments here. I'm not going to rant about it. I'm not pissed off. I just think it's just really a bad image, if you ask me, on fellow foreigners. If you want to have a nice little field day and laugh, go look at the comment section of that video, I guess. I don't know. Because everyone in that comment section video is just like ripping him a new one. Gaijin Hunters are not what a lot of people think they are. In my opinion is there's a pretty well drawn line between someone being a Gaijin Hunter and someone just being nice. And I remember Victor mentioned this in his video. He talked about that Japanese man Yutas experiment where he went up to foreigners and asking them about their Japanese level. And very few foreigners. That video was in one of my Phoenix 5 videos as well. That video was #1 for like week 5, I think. I don't know. Who scored? I don't care. I'll just put my phone on silent. That video was #1 for that week. I forget which week it was, but if you saw that video, which I guess I'll link again in the description, you'll see that very few foreigners who are in Tokyo speak Japanese. And I talked this over with quite a few of my Japanese friends, and they say when they come across foreigners, they see that very rarely do they speak Japanese. Even at my level is conversational and 3 level. My Japanese, I mean, I can get by on conversations. I have no problem ordering food, no problem giving directions on the trains and stuff like that. I can buy pretty much anything I want with no problem. My only limitation is pretty much vocabulary. You know, and that's just a topical thing, right? And I was talking this over with a couple of my Japanese friends, and they said that my level is actually quite rare in Japan, and having anyone who has N2 or N1 is even rarer. And since the vast majority of the people in Japan that are not Japanese are foreigners who are here on tourist visas, very few of them are going to be able to speak Japanese. So naturally, when a Japanese person comes up to you, and actually this is actually rare in my own case, Japanese people are going to want to use English because they want to be nice and they don't want to confuse the situation. Like, let's say you're at a store and you're lost, and one of the staff comes up to you and starts speaking to you in English. That's really nice of them. And that's something I can really appreciate. And they're not being rude, they're not being racist, they're not being elitist or anything like that. They're just being nice. Because, as you can see by Yutas' video, which, I mean, it's hardly empirical evidence, but it's pretty damn good evidence. And even with, I can give testimony from any of my Japanese friends if you want. I'll put that on Twitter eventually. Most of the foreigners they come across with don't speak English. I mean, don't speak Japanese. You get my point. They don't speak Japanese. And I feel like there's a lot better ways of dealing with Gaijin hunters than just whipping out a camera and taking a video. But that's for everyone else to post in that video. Now, what is a Gaijin hunter then? You guys might be saying. Well, it's pretty obvious. Gaijin hunters are people who are just go after you just because they want you as an English teacher, just because they want to have sex with a Gaijin. Or, you see, this is even harder to describe because not many people are actually Gaijin hunters. That's the thing. And if you come across someone who just wants to exclusively talk to you in English, or just comes up to you and asks you about your English and just wants an English teacher, say, fine, but I want a favor from you. Can you teach me Japanese? Japanese people will be like, for sure. Very rarely will a Japanese person say no. And that's when you have a Gaijin hunter. Alright? And I know I've thrown this term around as well, like, being English teacher zone, like people only want you as an English teacher. I feel like when I made that video or made that comment on Facebook, I was kind of being pissed off. And I wasn't thinking straight. And I want to retract that comment by saying that if you think you're English teacher zone, you're just not trying hard enough to make a good friendship out of this person. It takes two people to establish a friendship. And if this person wants to establish a friendship with you because you're a foreigner and they're trying to learn English, good. That's something of value that they have. All right? And just because you also want to learn Japanese doesn't mean they're going to stop being friends with you. Every time someone's told me they wanted to use English with me, and I said I wanted to practice Japanese, they were more than accommodating for me. And that's never been a serious issue. Like, I honestly don't know what the deal is. Like, I know a lot of foreigners in Japan get pissed off about this, but like in all honesty, it's really nothing to get pissed off on, Debito Arudo made a few videos on this, or he made a couple comments on this. It's not racist. It really is not racist at all. I don't know why that's considered racist, or considered elitist, or treating someone as a second-class citizen. Alright? I mean, sure, you go to Roppongi, there's going to be girls there who just want to meet foreigners. Well, why are you in Roppongi? You're a foreigner, and you go to Roppongi. What do you expect? That's what Roppongi is. Roppongi's like Little America, almost. And, you're going to go there and expect people to be speaking to you in Japanese. Good luck. That's your initiative. If you want to speak Japanese in a place where a lot of people are going to be speaking English, then you got to be the one speaking Japanese. If they reply to you in English, just reply in Japanese. I mean, listening is a lot easier than speaking Japanese, okay? And that's plain and simple. It's just don't be a dick about it. Seriously. I mean, I really don't know what else I can say about this. But my experiences, I guess, if you want me to go over that with Gaijin hunters, is there's been a lot of girls that have flirted with me just because they wanted a one-night stand with a foreigner, or they wanted to hook up with a foreigner, or they just wanted that experience. It got to the point where it was quite annoying, but I have my own standards. Just say no. if someone tries to do that. Don't get pissed off about it. I mean, that's, people are curious about that. I mean, there's a lot of people in America who want to date Asians. Why? Well, they're curious. I mean, I don't think it's racist. I mean, it might be generalizing something. It might be generalizing Asian people, or as some of the social justice warriors these days use, fetishizing. I don't think you guys know what a fetish is. A fetish is something that's somewhat unusual that turns you on. And if someone has an Asian fetish, okay, cool. Someone has a white person fetish. What's the big deal? It's their life, honestly. And if someone comes up to you, talking to you in English, talk English back. Who cares? I've lived here for 3 years, and I remember the second day I've been in Japan, these two Japanese people, I can tell they were not from Tokyo, because they were speaking, and I think it was like a dialect of Kansai. It wasn't Osaka then, but it was somewhere around Osaka. They came up to me and my dad and asked me to take a photo with them. I thought it was unusual. I thought it was very, very unusual. But I said sure, and then I started speaking in Japanese to them, and they got really excited. And that's how I kind of found out that they were from Kansai, because of their Kansai dialect. But, I mean, why not? Who you just say no if you don't want your photo taken. Just say, oh, sorry, no. You can. Don't be, fuck you, get away from me. Don't do that. Like, that's rude. Japanese people don't like rude people. And definitely don't whip out your camera and say, this guy's treating me like a second-class citizen. Don't do that either. I mean, I forgot who said this, but it was actually, I think, it was in Michaela's video. The 5th video from this most recent Phoenix 5. This was unrelated to Ryan's video. She said that the concept of foreigners in Japan is a very new thing. Like, in my country, in America, we're pretty much a nation of immigrants, and we still are. Europe, I mean, look at what's going on in Europe right now with all the refugees, right? In Japan and Korea, for another example, it's a very homogenous society. Ethnically diverse Koreans or ethnically different Japanese or Koreans or even Chinese or Taiwanese, for that matter, are rare. And I mean, some of these people have, Japanese citizenship. Citizenship is definitely different from racial makeup, obviously. But in Japan, the whole concept of a white person having Japanese citizenship is very, very unusual, and there's only a few people who have that. And I feel like it's obviously a very exotic thing, but it's definitely not something that should be taken as racist or as treating foreigners as a second-class citizen. You gotta keep this is something you gotta keep in mind when Japanese people meet a foreigner for the first time. Whenever I go traveling to the Inaka, like I've been to 34 prefectures. Whenever I go to a prefecture that's not Tokyo, or rather the whole of Kanto, if I go somewhere outside of Kanto, outside of Aichiken, or outside of Kansai, even in Wakayama Prefecture, I had this reaction. People are like, "Oh my God, it's a foreigner." Even more so with my long hair, right? What's the big deal? They're not used to seeing foreigners. I mean, this country was sealed off until the 1850s. The fact I'm over here right now, living here, that's something completely unheard of almost 150 years ago. Keep that in mind. So that's what I wanted to say about this. I kind of ranted on about this for a while. How much time is on this clock here? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get off. I hope you guys didn't take this the wrong way. This is pretty much what I wanted to say. I'm not really going to edit this video. I'm just going to pop it up there. And like I said, let me know if I can put the clip of showing my monetization for the last month on there, or if that's against the rules. If that is against the rules, I will re-edit that video and re-upload it if necessary. Just note that I do not have any plans right now to celebrate 1,000 subscribers, because those subscribers are not real. It's a shitload of bots. If you don't know what I mean, just look at some of the pictures I posted on my Twitter. And I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy, Phoenicians.